You're watching CW6 News at 10.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Natasha Sweatte. Sessions fought back against those allegations today. The Grinch is going to have a hard time stealing Christmas this year. The Pentagon says U.S. forces conducted 20 airstrikes against al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen overnight. And time now for sports. Lee Hamilton joins us. So the Chargers went to Cleveland to face the Browns, and they leave with a loss to the worst team in the NFL. That sounds pretty badly. President-elect Donald Trump says he plans to dissolve the controversial Trump Foundation. He says the foundation has done good work contributing money to veterans, law enforcement, and children. But Trump says he still wants to dissolve it to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest. Yeah, that's right. There are reportedly two main candidates for the job, Romney and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. And Giuliani has been a loyal supporter of Trump's, while Romney was critical of him and refused to endorse him during the campaign. North Korean President Kim Jong-un is hinting his nation is ready to test an intercontinental ballistic missile. Kim made the announcement in his New Year's address, saying preparations for the test have reached the final stages. A local family is making headlines across the country after giving birth to twins in 2 different years. Imagine that. While there's no specific timeline for these motorcycle lane splitting guidelines, the CHP stresses how vital proper safety gear is for riders. The CHP also advises drivers to share the road to avoid unnecessary collisions. If you've recently purchased a plastic bag, you might have noticed they're a little thicker, making them sturdier for reuse. But for those who only use them once, the plastic bags aren't exactly eco-friendly. That's right, Jason and Netta. It simply can't be stressed enough. Drinking, smoking, or using prescription drugs while driving isn't just a terrible mistake. It could ruin your life and even end someone else's. Yeah, that's right, Jason and Netta. While it's still early, the Surfrider Foundation says they are noticing a difference in the ocean and also in the attitudes among shoppers carrying their reusable bags. Well, tonight it was standing room only. The community made it loud and clear that this issue of homelessness requires a team effort. Alda and Junior were severely burned and still need dozens of surgeries. The family embraces the love of the firefighters and say it's helping them mend their lives back together. Well, their home is expected to be repaired by the end of January, regaining normalcy little by little. Yeah, that's right, John and Brooke. Many anticipate Monday's vote will confirm President-elect Donald Trump's victory. However, San Diego's Democratic Party Chair Francine Busby says she's still looking forward to casting her vote Monday morning, despite what's likely to be the overall outcome. Under the skies of sunny San Diego lies a much darker world many of us only hear about in the movies. But for Deborah, it's a reality she's trying to forget.
I still wake up with nightmares.
Deborah was recruited into the trade online via MySpace shortly after her mother's death. She became close to a man she thought was her boyfriend, but ended up becoming her pimp.
I didn't want to, and then I got beat up for not wanting to.
Some girls are recruited face-to-face, but according to the FBI, the vast majority of them, like Deborah, began online.
It's a scary time for parents.
A father himself and part of the FBI's Operation Cross Country, Supervisory Special Agent Todd Hemman says sex trafficking has evolved with technology. But how could this be happening in America's finest city?
So we attract both businessmen and leisure travel. So venues like our professional sports teams, Comic-Con, our proximity to casinos. I think all of those help to attract this male population.
Deborah confirms their locations would change around local events.
Oh yeah, the Padres games and Chargers games, Comic-Con. Then we were downtown or by the stadium.
Trapped by violence and a drug addiction, Deborah says getting arrested while working El Cajon Boulevard saved her life. A detective told her about Generate Hope, a faith-based organization helping women get off the street.
Anybody thinking about being forced to have sex with 10 or 15 strangers a day, you can just imagine the trauma.
Susan Muncie, founder of Generate Hope, was trafficked herself at the age of 16 and truly connects with the women during their healing process.
It's such a wonderful feeling to see women grow and develop and work through their traumas, and I always say really become the women that they were always meant to be.
So for all the young girls listening right now, is there anything that you wish you would have known back then?
Learn warning signs, like if a guy's cursing at you, that's it. Like, don't put up with it. Because even if he doesn't physically hurt you, it still can mess you up really bad.
So what are some of the major warning signs that you want to tell parents about?
One of the biggest indicators is kids coming home with whether it's new clothes or new shoes or a new hairstyle, makeup, gifts that they didn't previously have.
Other warning signs include drug use, major changes in behavior, and isolation from family and friends. All things Deborah has been able to overcome.
At that point, I had nowhere to live. Now I live in a 3-bedroom have a job now. Didn't have that back then. Have people that I can talk to.
It's nice to be with my kids.
Juanita Vasquez was overwhelmed with joy seeing her 2 kids running around like normal, partaking in the joy of the Christmas spirit. But what this family went through was far from the norm.
They advise there are people inside the home.
Last November, their Mount Hope house caught fire. Joe Zakar was working overtime with Dallas Higgins, not even scheduled to be at that exact station. First on scene, Dallas jumped right out and was told there were 3 kids stuck inside. He rescued Junior. After succumbing to second-degree burns, Zakar jumps in. Earlier that night, after discussing a plan of attack if the fire were to ignite, they also shared what they prayed about.
I pray for being able to see inside of a fire. And Dallas had said that he prays to be able to hear somebody in their time of need.
I always pray for to be still. If there's anybody that needs help, let me just be able to be still and hear them.
Both of their prayers were answered.
I stopped for a quick second, collected my thoughts, I took a deep breath, and that's when I heard Esma take a deep breath.
He could hear and see in the treacherous fire.
My light and Dallas's light, Dallas was out the window, met just perfectly, and I saw this pink little torso.
Esmeralda was rescued. Their older brother Fernando didn't make it out alive. Joe and Dallas visited the kids in the hospital, developing a relationship with the family.
The kids definitely know who they are. They see them and they make pictures for them, and we talk about them, we pray for them. They're definitely part of our lives.
Zakar's dentist collected toys to give to Junior and Esmeralda. It was a chance for the community to celebrate how far they've come in 1 year.
Junior just found out that his brother-in-law passed, so we're still grieving. And it's a process for everybody, but we're all healing.
It's a sight this Raiders fan has always dreamed of seeing.
The local area, pretty much everybody was Raider fans because Marcus Allen grew up in the area.
While this man prefers to remain anonymous, he wants to warn other football fans to not buy fake tickets off Craigslist like he did.
I got taken for a ride, I guess.
He did the exchange with this woman at a Starbucks. We're blurring her face as authorities have not convicted her of any crime.
You know, everything kind of looked good, but you just kind of feel like, damn, it's like, is this too good to be true type of feeling.
After the deal was done, he began to have second thoughts.
I was trying to get in contact with her and she wouldn't contact me anymore, so I had another phone. I contacted her with that phone and she responded right away.
He decided to do his own investigation. He met her once again, this time at a restaurant in Mission Valley.
When I seen her again and she was just ready to sell me more tickets, I was like, damn.
Wearing a GoPro, he expressed his concerns to the same woman about the 5 tickets he bought. He says she went to her car to give him a receipt to show the tickets were legit.
Yeah, that was pretty intense because, she's going in the car, there's mail in the front, mail in the back, and she's reaching in for who knows what. It's pretty stupid,
The relief he may have received from the receipt was long gone after he got to the game and saw the security guard turning others away with fake tickets. Out $700, he met other fellow Raiders fans, scammed out even more, one person losing $1,000. They confirmed this same woman sold them the fraudulent tickets.
I was pretty devastated. You follow the team for, X amount of years, and they go up and they go down.
With rain in the forecast, drivers already need to be on the lookout in San Diego this New Year's Eve. But adding high or drunk drivers into the mix makes the roads a lot more dangerous.
It's not worth it.
22 years ago, this New Year's Eve, Doug Fletcher was driving home from a house party in Lemon Grove.
I wasn't necessarily so drunk. I did have some alcohol, but I was real tired.
Dozing off a few times, he crashed into 2 parked cars just a block from his place in Pacific Beach.
I panicked and tried to limp a very destroyed car home. By the time I got home, I realized that you're not going to get away with this, that you got to go back.
He was arrested and then taken downtown. Fletcher recalls the horrifying 8 hours in jail that New Year's Eve as he awaited bail.
They tried to steal my shoes.
If you plan to drink, smoke, or take prescription drugs and drive, you can plan to spend your New Year's Eve sitting right here.
I had a friend drive me to a lot of places. I took taxis a lot of places, rode the bus.
His DUI didn't just cost him lawyers and taxi fees, but also his job for an entire year.
I work on a golf course, and it's mandatory you have a driver's license. It was quite an ordeal
An ordeal the California Highway Patrol says can easily be prevented.
It's hard to say, you know, a 175-pound man can have 2 beers or something like that. Everyone's different. But our message is, if you're going to be the designated driver, don't drink anything.
That day, January 1st, after my release from jail, all alcoholic beverage in the house went down the drain.
And 22 years later, Fletcher hasn't touched a single drop of alcohol.
I was so thankful that I hadn't hurt anyone, and the consequences could have been so much worse.
In the end, Fletcher says it was the wake-up call he needed to turn things around.
It was, you know, fate, you know, because I was pretty much out of control at that point, and it changed me around. It really changed my life.